Zinc, the power behind your baby's intelligence, helping your little one grow up smarter and wise. Selenium, the protector of your baby's immunity so that he can fight disease. Vitamin D, to give your baby healthy bones and teeth and to make him grow strong and powerful. Discover these 3 superpowers in the new Nutralac Immunoprotect formula. For inquiries about Nutralac Immunoprotect, contact Fawani Enterprise, Banjul on 7191815. Nutralac, everything your baby needs to grow.
Good evening. We are live in Banjul, broadcasting for viewers in the Gambia and around the world. This is GRTS News with me, Winifred Nicole. Coming up, President Adama Barrow receives the Foreign Minister of Senegal as special envoy of the Senegalese President Macky Sall. The National Disaster Management Agency briefs the media about last night's windstorm that hit the country, killing more than 10 people and destroyed many homes. The Director General of GRTS embarks on a nationwide tour of the national broadcaster's various facilities across the country. Plus, in Nigeria, 18 people, including soldiers, killed and 1,000 others displaced from as suspected Islamist militants intensify assault in the northeast of the country. And South Africa's ruling ANC party calls for calm as former President Jacob Zuma hands himself over to the police to serve 15-month jail sentence for contempt of court. Well, viewers, those are the headlines. Good to have you with us. We begin this bulletin with the presidency. The Senegalese foreign minister, led by the Senegalese ambassador to the Gambia, has called on His Excellency President Adama Barrow at the State House. Madam Aissata Tall Sall, a special envoy of the Senegalese president, His Excellency Macky Sall, has delivered a message of peace, brotherhood and solidarity to His Excellency President Adama Barrow. The Senegalese foreign minister also hailed the excellent bilateral relations between Senegal and the Gambia. The visit that also seeks to further strengthen the existing cordial ties between Banjul and Dakar. While speaking to GRTS shortly after a closed-door meeting with President Barrow, Madam Sall Fall also extended warm greetings from the Senegalese leader. Still on the executive, the government and partners have launched the first policy forum. The goal is to design public policy that is evidence-based. Louis Mendy reports Vice President Dr. Aissatou Touré officiated the Thursday event championed by the Department of Strategic Policy and Delivery at the Office of the President.
Academics, researchers, policymakers, development partners, civil society and the public have been discussing how relevant research findings, application of data and analysis, collaboration and process innovations can feed into evidence policymaking. It is the launch of the first policy forum by the Department of Strategic Policy and Delivery. The aim is to develop a public policy based on sound evidence. Professor Jenaba Carr is the Director General at the Department of Strategic Policy and Delivery.
The aspirations that research findings will be put into action is often left unrealized. While sectors often struggle to find evidence which can be applied in the Gambian policy context, academics and policymakers, we don't always speak the same language. Researchers and policymakers, we don't always hear the voices of those affected by our policies. This is exactly why we need more communication, more collaboration and understanding. There's synergetic relationship between research and policy when we work together. And let us start here today.
The Department of Strategic Policy and Delivery is a technical office within the Office of the President that functions to assist and enable the President develop, implement, and monitor the vision of the government. Abulai Jara, the Permanent Secretary at the Office of the President, said the Office of the Secretary General recognizes the value that evidence-based policy has on government, laws, and regulations.
We are committed to the continuous use of evidence-based policy as a strategy planning instrument to enhance coherence for effective decision-making in government.
For Vice President Dr. Issa Toure, the programs and papers selected for the forum highlighted a high level of commitment on the part of the academics and researchers in supporting the government for better policy.
For the maiden edition to have such high-profile presenters is a testament to the importance of the cause and the good work done by the DSPD. Equally, I can assure you that government is committed more than ever before to nurture this engagement. It is evident by the number of state ministers and high-level government officials present here today. The forum this year prioritized papers in education, health, and agriculture. The last theme includes papers on multisectoral issues. It is therefore imperative that I talk about the importance of these sectors.
The government under President Barrow is committed to evidence-based policy, said Vice President Dr. Issa Toure, as demonstrated in the areas of education, health, and other sectors.
Education. In the 2021 budget, a significant amount was allocated to education, that is 15%, which demonstrates the government's commitment to the sector. It is my understanding that the two selected papers concerns addressing youth unemployment through university curricula and a cross-country study on quality improvements in education. Both are timely topics to discuss. In spite of the gains in the education sector, addressing unemployment and improving quality in education will always be important to our government. Although we have witnessed gains made in the promotion of technical and vocational education (TVET), as provided in the education policy, youth unemployment still remains a challenge in the Gambia. At a time when the government has set into motion a technical university to address youth unemployment, it will be most enriching to learn more from the research paper concerning how to improve unemployment through university curricula. I am looking forward to more fruitful discussions around this topic during the course of the day.
The hope is that the first policy forum marks the beginning of the change of mindset in designing new public policy using approaches that are data and evidence-based driven, thereby ushering higher performance in the government and the broader socioeconomic ecosystems. Louis Mendy, GRTS.
Away from that, the Director General of the Gambia Radio and Television Services, accompanied by members of the GRTS Management and Board, has embarked on a nationwide tour of the institution's facilities across the country. The visiting delegation has been holding discussions with staff at various sites. Our correspondent in the Lower River region, Alhaji Mbai, tells us more.
Director General Malik Jeng, accompanied by members of the senior management and board of the Gambia Radio and Television Services, visited the transmitters in Abuko, Kanilai and Mansakonko, where they held meetings with staff and stakeholders as part of a nationwide tour of the institution's facilities following his recent appointment as head of the state broadcaster. At the end of his engagements in the Lower River region, Director General Jeng explained the purpose of the visit and his impressions so far.
We wanted to come around and see our transmitter stations, see the state of the equipment, meet the staff, see their living conditions, and then once we identify the problems, when we go back as management, we will decide what to do. We started with Abuko, and then we proceeded to Kanila, and here we are at Mansakonko. From here we'll proceed to Kudang, to Bansang, to Basse. So those are our 6 transmitter sites that we wanted to visit.
GRTS recently returned to satellite transmission and is available on widely accessible platforms, a development widely welcomed by viewers and stakeholders across the country and beyond. The Director General assured the public of the institution's resolve to improve the equipment and program content for enhanced service delivery.
I think some of the equipment have lived their useful lives as we outlived their useful lives. So we will need to see how we can, with the help of government, try to change some of this equipment, replace it altogether. I think returning to satellite was something that many of our viewers had waited for years, and finally it has come. We are on the same Eutelsat satellite that, as we said, that most of the other channels are. We are currently looking at our program schedule. We are very close to finalizing a brand new program schedule that have relevant and interesting programming. And we assure our listeners that they will not be disappointed.
The Deputy Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information and Communications Infrastructure, Malang A. Bass, who is also a board member of GRTS, said the tour will provide stakeholders with first-hand information on the equipment and staff of GRTS, which will enable them make informed policy decisions to enhance the services of the state broadcaster.
Main functions are actually to create policies and create regulations that will enhance or create an enabling environment for PEs like GRTS to function. And those policies are geared towards how to facilitate the revenue generation of GRTS, how to ease their operational flexibility. So after this trip, I will report to my management, look at the constraints that can be resolved or that can actually be enhanced by changing policy priorities and by enhancing policies where they are not adequately addressing the issues of GRTS.
At various sites, staff discussed challenges they faced in providing effective services to the public. The Director General and team assured of a swift response to some of the challenges to ensure improved service delivery to the public. Alajimbai, GRTS News.
Moving on. The mayor of KMC, Talib Ahmed Bensouda, on Thursday received in audience Matthew Meir, country executive of Newcastle, Delaware, USA, accompanied by members of the Delaware Africa-Caribbean Coalition. The visiting team, as Kedjetu Jallo reports, also toured the Bakote Fish Market, Bakote Dump Site, and Bakau Women's Garden.
After a short meeting and introduction to the councillors of the municipality, the visiting U.S. official, Matthew Meir, reiterated his office's commitment to work with the municipal council.
My job is to make sure that the police are policing our streets and policing them equally in all communities. My job is to make sure when there are parks and green spaces, it's equal across communities. On the national level, those aren't the things they're thinking about or dealing with. We're on the front lines. You're on the front lines. To those on the outside running departments of government, you're on the front lines. There's not enough exchanges between your government and our government, between local governments. for us to share fellowship, for us to understand the challenges that we face, because these challenges are very similar. Challenges of long-time divisions in communities, challenges in people trusting or mistrusting government. And I just want to thank each of you for the role you're playing in building this Gambian democracy, this vision of a better Gambia and a better world where we can all work together.
The team comprising the mayor of KMC and visiting officials, first port of call was the Backwater Fish Market, where they were received by the vendors. The management of the fish market took the team on a tour of the facility. The team later proceeded to the Backwater dump site and then a visit to the Baka Women's Garden. The visiting team had the opportunity to see and get first-hand information on how these places operate and success registered over the years.
Lafta puruka nati Gambia banko koroja puruntel farambe benefit la nyame.
Wasature, a member of the Delaware Africa-Caribbean Coalition, expressed delight at efforts in promoting such a partnership that he said will further enhance the development of the country. For the U.S. top official who is visiting West Africa and the Gambia in particular for the first time, shared his views about the development.
Gambia has so much potential. The people are working hard to build a better future. I've seen it at the fish market, I've seen it at the dumping site, and I've seen it here where 522 women are working hard to make a living, producing vegetables for the world to eat. You know, when there are 522 women working here, everybody knows, I know from my mother, that's feeding thousands of people. We're looking forward to partnering with the municipality here to see everything we can do to benefit both the people of Kanifang and the people of Newcastle County.
For Mayor Bensouda, this is a significant development, adding that the visit by the delegation and the engagements between his council and visiting team is expected to help council address some of the challenges, including waste management, amongst others.
We want to partner with Newcastle County to see how we can improve as far as waste management is concerned, how service delivery also can be improved. We've been to the Backwater Fish Market and we've seen what the women are doing there, what the management is doing there, and we've also been to the Backwater dump site. So we're looking at how to enhance service delivery and we're trying to learn from the best. And of course, we know we're sharing similar problems, but they are way ahead of where we are right now. And this is the point of it. How do we share ideas? How do we share technology? How do we also share culture? Because it's all about people at the end of the day. And Americans and Gambians, as we have seen, are very close. And that is how Mr. Haji Dukure has managed to bring this partnership together.
The women at the fish market and the Baka Women's Garden expressed delight at the move by the officials. Karijatu Jallo reporting for GRTS News.
In another development, Operation Zero Crime, mounted by our joint security forces, has arrested over 100 people in connection to various alleged crimes from 27th June to 4th July. The police made the latest update during a press conference at the police headquarters in Banjul on Thursday. Ibrahim Jallo has more on that.
A total of 110 people were rounded up from June 2017 to the 4th of July this year, as Operation Zero Crime continues. Assistant Superintendent Lamin Jai is the spokesperson for the Gambia Police Force.
5 individuals were released because they are not connected to any crime. After screening, it was found out that they are not connected to any crime, and so they have been released with immediate effect. And 60 individuals have been handed over to the Gambia Immigration Department because there are matters related to documentation and related issues, and so their cases are handed over to the Gambia Immigration Department for further investigations and necessary actions. About 17 of them had been handed over to the Drug Law Enforcement Agency, and their matters also related to drug and drug matters, and so therefore their cases are equally handed for further investigation and necessary action.
Chief Superintendent Mamandi Ndiba, Public Relations Officer of the Gambia Immigration Department, and Lamin K. Jobate of the Drug Law Enforcement Agency explained the crimes linked to those handed to their respective institutions.
These 60 people, majority of them were undocumented aliens. Once they are handed to us for crimes of not regularizing their stay in the country, they mostly comply to regularize their stay by obtaining the relevant permits. As a country, as a law enforcement institution, we cannot afford to have people in our midst who have no identity.
We seized 174 kilograms of cannabis, 606 grams, 100 milligrams. For hashish, we seized 88 grams, 500 milligrams. And for cocaine, we seized 4 grams, 500 milligrams. We have 49 cases for the month of June, and we arrested 52 people, and 50 of them are Gambians, 2 of them are non-Gambians.
Meanwhile, the joint security forces are set to launch a new initiative called Operation Clear the Streets, starting from the 26th of July. This operation, in collaboration with relevant stakeholders, including the National Road Authority, is meant to better manage the traffic. P.R. Onjai explains.
This operation is going to affect all of obstacles that are along the highways or on public roads, causing obstruction and congestion of traffic. Individuals who have derelict vehicles need to remove their vehicles from the sides of the road. We need to be very clear about this. People who have vehicles along the highways, on the sides, need to remove those vehicles from the highways. Individuals who have mechanic garages or shops that sell tires and they are parked along the highways, we are telling them also to remove those materials from causing obstruction along the sides of the road.
Operation Zero Crime continues with a view of achieving maximum protection of life and property in the country. Ibrahim Jallo, GRTS News.
The National Disaster Management Agency on Thursday held a press briefing on last night's windstorm that affected many parts of the country. More than 10 people have died, leaving many homes destroyed. Senabu Jain has the rest of that story.
This press conference, the speed of the windstorm happened in 85 kilometers per hour yesterday night, has claimed over 10 lives so far, says the Executive Director of the National Disaster Management Agency. It's been 5 years since the Gambia has encountered such windstorm.
As the assessment is ongoing, because the assessment is not an event, it's a process. Before government can determine in the kind of response that the government would provide, they must have a credible and dependable data, because that's the nerve center of any response when it comes to emergency support. You rely on data, and the data has to be credible, reliable, and dependable. It is on this background that the government is actually waiting for us as an emergency institution and the partner to provide the government with the right data so that they can come up with a response that will need and will reflect the needs of the population. To strengthen the response capacity of NDMA, the President has already donated 3 pickups to NDMA this morning, just to strengthen our capacity, because we cannot collect all this data if we are not mobile, if we don't have the right mobility to do it. In addition to that, he also donated another six motorcycles just to strengthen the response capacity of the institution.
Stakeholders like Gambia Red Cross Society, Action for Hunger, the World Food Programme were present at the press briefing. The North Bank region has been hardly hit by the windstorms, as 3,140 people have been affected so far, and rapid assessments are still ongoing. Permanent Secretary from the Ministry of Local Government and Lands, Muntaga Sala, personally pledged 10,000 dalasis to support some disaster victims.
Unfortunately, it's the poor and vulnerable that are affected the most. Climate change exacerbates our vulnerabilities. At a time like this, we're appealing to all stakeholders. As the Executive Director mentioned, it's primarily government's role. But times like this, we call on our stakeholders and partners, local and international. We have to work together to close the adaptation gap to adaptation funding gap and resilience.
Secretary General of the Gambia Red Cross Society, Alassane Senghor, expressed his sincere condolences to the family of the lost ones.
So one of the things that we have developed is, whilst we assess, we also respond with some life-saving material that would help the families. And this NDMA was very helpful in working with us in that. So we have been
distributing as we went along some non-food items which include blankets and mats and hygiene kits and other items so that families who are stayed or housed by other community members would have adequate bedding to house them.
The press conference ended with a question and answer session.
Actually, the report that we received from last night to this morning was that most of these people died as a result of trees fall on their houses. The other ones, when the roof is being blown off, hit them, and then as a result of their wound, they died during the process. That's what we can confirm for now. Yes. And that we will actually strengthen and intensify our early warning effort, because the best early warning is to provide people with information.
Sainabu Jain for GRTS News.
That report by Sainabu Jain takes us to our first commercial break. News from outside the Gambia is up next. Do stay.
The Gambia has launched a national COVID-19 vaccination campaign by the Ministry of Health and supported by various partners using the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. Health workers first received the vaccine, followed by other groups based on their health risks and the supply of vaccines over time. This COVID-19 vaccine has been approved by the World Health Organization, WHO, for people aged 18 and above. Each person should receive 2 doses of the vaccine, with the second dose coming no time later than 12 weeks after the first. The most common side effects are pain at the injection site and flu-like symptoms for up to 48 hours after injection. Serious reactions are very rare. We must continue wearing our clean masks, washing our hands frequently, maintaining physical distance, and limiting time we spend in crowded and enclosed spaces. The vaccine is safe and can help us get closer to ending the pandemic. For more information, please call 1025 from any network in the Gambia, free of charge.
This message is brought to you by the Gambia Red Cross Society and funded by the European Union.
Over now to news from outside the Gambia. We begin with Nigeria, where 18 people in Katsina village have been killed by suspected Islamist militants. The attack took place in the country's northeast on Wednesday. In that assault, 2 churches and a house were also set on fire. It is not yet clear who is responsible. The attack by Islamist militants have been intensified in the northeast of Nigeria, with dozens of soldiers killed and thousands of Nigerians displaced from their homes. Well, for the latest, here is CGTN with more. To South Africa now, where the ruling ANC party has called for a calm and law and order by members in what is described as a difficult period. The party has urged its members to respect the decision taken by the former president Jacob Zuma to abide by the ruling of the Constitutional Court. Zuma handed himself over to the police in his home province on Thursday. He is now serving his 15-month jail sentence for contempt of court. Details in the CGTN report. apologize for that. More on that will come in our 10 p.m. newscast. Well, time now for our second break. We will be right back in just a moment.
The much anticipated Euro 2020 football tournament has returned. Yes, the Euro tournament right at your doorstep. 24 teams all fighting for one giant trophy. Watch all 52 games live on GRTS, brought to you by your favorite GSM operator at Freecell. And that's not all. Call or SMS 1010 to win millions of dollars and the Scorpions national team jersey after every game. Plus, you can win an air ticket to watch the African Cup of Nations live in Cameroon. AfriCell, in support of sports. Where AfriCell goes, nobody dares to follow.
Well, that's the news, but before we take leave of you, a quick look at our top stories. President Adama Barrow has received the Foreign Minister of Senegal as special envoy of the Senegalese President Macky Sall. The National Disaster Management Agency has briefed the media about last night's windstorm that hit the country, killing more than 10 people and destroyed many homes. The Director General of GRTS has embarked on a nationwide tour of the national broadcaster's various facilities across the country. Plus, in Nigeria, 18 people, including soldiers, have been killed and 1,000 others displaced from a suspected Islamist militants' intensified assault in the northeast of the country. And South Africa's ruling ANC party has called for calm as former President Jacob Zuma hands himself over to the police to serve a 15-month jail sentence for contempt of court. Well, viewers, that was all in this edition of the News at 8. Join us at 10 for more news. Until then, do stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our programs.
For the first time in the history of the Gambia, Gambia Printing Publishing Corporation proudly introduces the Biliomatic exercise book printing machine. The machine has the capacity to print more than 20,000 books per hour. Yes, 20,000 books per hour. It also prints magazines, newspapers, calendars, flyers, normal books and all kinds of printed documents plus items at affordable prices. With the Biliomatic printing machine, GPPC can now render high quality and non-size restricted printing service supply across the sub-region. Rush now and partner with GPPC for all your public and private printing service needs. Print with us today and you'd be offered highly professional, reliable and efficient service delivery by our team of experts. The Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation is here to meet all demands and is reliable at all times. For more info, contact us on 437-4493 or 437-4402. GPPC is Gambian and it's yours.